Yo WWE fam! It's time for another update here on WWE News Update. Smash that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's get into the ring of news. Wait just a minute. Something doesn't add up here. Cody Rhodes, the reigning WWE champion who should be laser-focused on defending his title, CM Punk, the straight-edge rebel who's built his entire career on being a loner. And Jey Uso, the man who just broke free from the Bloodline's chaos to forge his own path. Now suddenly, they're standing side by side on Monday Night Raw, ready for war games like lifelong brothers. It's a jaw-dropping visual, but one that raises serious questions about storytelling, character logic, and WWE's long-term direction. The confusing alliance nobody saw coming. The image of Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jey Uso standing together backstage looked powerful. Three top babyfaces united for war games. But let's be honest, it makes absolutely no sense without the right buildup. These are three men defined by independence, pride, and personal missions. To suddenly see them strategizing like best friends feels jarring. WWE wants fans to buy into the hype without giving us the why. And in a company that prides itself on long-term storytelling, this lack of foundation feels like lazy booking at its finest. Cody Rhodes, the champion above faction. Warfare. Cody Rhodes shouldn't even be near this kind of storyline. He's the WWE champion, the top guy, the face of Raw, the man who finished his story by dethroning Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. His entire arc has been about standing on his own, proving that his hard work, not a faction, got him to the top. So why is he now diving into team warfare? A champion's job is to defend his title, not join every brand-wide feud. Unless the opposing team has specifically threatened his championship or attacked him personally, Cody's inclusion feels misplaced. If WWE wanted to make Cody's role believable, they needed to show us why he feels compelled to join this fight. Maybe the War Games opponents targeted him or vowed to destroy his legacy. Maybe it's personal. But right now, it just feels like WWE threw him in because he's their biggest star and they want the main event spotlight to shine brighter. Either way, CM Punk, the rebel, who doesn't play well with others. Now let's talk about CM Punk. The man has built his entire career around rejecting authority, refusing alliances, and standing alone against the machine. Punk doesn't do team player. He's the guy who called himself the voice of the voiceless, the one who walked out in 2014 because of how WWE handled politics and creative control. So seeing him suddenly gearing up for a five-man team match feels like the ultimate contradiction. Why would CM Punk, of all people, agree to fight alongside others in a cage match that demands unity and trust? Punk's inclusion would only make sense if his enemies were so dangerous that even he realized he couldn't take them down alone. But WWE hasn't given us that reason. Instead, they seem to be banking on nostalgia and star power. Punk deserves a storyline that reflects his complex personality, not a forced alliance that erases everything that makes him compelling. And let's be real. Punk sharing equal footing on a team is hard to buy. He's a born leader, not a background player. So how does his ego fit alongside Cody Rhodes, another alpha male who commands attention wherever he goes? There's potential for explosive storytelling here, but only if WWE actually explores the inevitable tension between these two. Jey Uso, fighting for his own identity. Then we have Jey Uso. His story over the past year has been one of redemption and self-discovery. After years in the shadow of the Bloodline and his cousin Roman Reigns, Jey finally broke free to stand on his own, fans connected deeply with his struggle for independence. His main event Jey Uso run has been one of the most authentic character evolutions in modern WWE. So putting him back into a team setting, right after escaping one, feels like taking two steps back. Now, it could make sense if WWE told the right story. Maybe Jey learns that unity isn't weakness. Maybe he sees in Cody and Punk something he didn't have in the Bloodline, mutual respect instead of manipulation. But we haven't seen that development on screen. There's no visible moment of trust being built, no dialogue explaining why he'd risk rejoining a group dynamic after everything he endured. Without that, Jey's inclusion feels like a regression rather than growth. The missing pieces. Where's the character work? Here's the biggest problem. WWE expects us to just accept that these three men are suddenly allies, but fans who followed their journeys know better. Cody and Jey have a complicated past. Jey was part of the faction that made Cody's life miserable for 2 years. Punk and Cody have hardly interacted since Punk's return. Punk and Jey have zero history whatsoever. So how are we supposed to believe they'd trust each other in one of the most brutal, trust-dependent matches in WWE history? That's what makes War Games different. It's not a random tag match. It's chaos in a cage, where your life in that match depends on your teammates' loyalty. If even one person hesitates, it can cost the entire team. That's where the story should be. The tension, the unease, the gradual building of respect among three men who've never worked together before. What we should be seeing. Instead, WWE could make this storyline phenomenal with just a few key beats. Imagine Cody trying to rally the group using his leadership and diplomacy to hold the team together. Picture Punk, skeptical and cynical, challenging every decision. Then there's Jey, caught in the middle, trying to prove he can be trusted after his bloodline passed. That dynamic alone could create rich, emotional television, moments that remind fans why these characters matter. We should see them clashing in the weeks leading up to War Games arguments, misunderstandings, training sessions where their differences become apparent. Maybe even an early match where miscommunication costs them. Then, as the match approaches, they learn to respect one another. The bottom line: star power isn't enough. There's no denying that Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jey Uso are three of the biggest names in wrestling today. Each brings incredible talent, charisma, and crowd connection. But WWE can't rely on that alone. Fans don't just want dream teams. They want stories that make sense, alliances that feel earned, rivalries that evolve naturally. Throwing big names together without logic might create a cool poster, but it doesn't create lasting moments. This War Games setup could be something special. It could be a masterclass in storytelling about trust, pride, and redemption. But only if WWE respects the intelligence of its audience and gives these characters the emotional depth they deserve. Otherwise, it'll be another case of spectacle over substance. A match we'll cheer in the moment but forget by next month. Final thought. The image of Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jey Uso standing together for War Games is undeniably powerful. A dream team built on star power and fan excitement. But wrestling has always been about why alliances form, not just the spectacle of seeing big names side by side. Without clear motivation or storytelling, this partnership risks feeling hollow despite its promise. Each man has a distinct journey: Cody's redemption, Punk's rebellion, Jey's independence, and WWE must weave those threads into a meaningful narrative. The potential for tension, trust, and redemption is enormous. Now it's up to WWE to prove they can turn this striking image into a story that truly earns its place in War Games history.